Leadership is about change. It's about taking people from where they are now to where they need to be. The best way to get people to venture into unknown terrain is to make it desirable by taking them there in their imaginations first. My name is Dr. Muzafar, and I'm currently working in University of Bahrain in the Department of Management and Marketing. Well, I have an experience of 12 years of teaching, research, and training at different institute. Before coming to Bahrain, I was associated with Government of Punjab for providing training to their different setups. Today, we are here in this international conference on social sciences and humanities. And first of all, I would like to thank the management of this conference for inviting me as a guest speaker. Today I'm going to discuss about managing and implementing change successfully with respect to COVID-19. All of us can see that currently we're facing through so many challenges because all the businesses are now closed, universities are closed, colleges, schools, all the education institutes, everything is closed. We need to develop some mechanism. We need to develop some way out. So all this required change, especially we are in the field of academia. So, from this perspective, all the universities have recently been, shifting to online education system and all this. So there is a resistance among people. I'm here to throw some light or to discuss that how can we manage this change successfully? How can we, you know, reduce the level of resistance by the employees toward changing setups. Managing change during pandemic COVID-19. What is the current state? Whenever you want to, bring change or you want to implement change or you want to manage change, you first need to understand that what is the current state of organization or audience that indicates a need for change. I mean, what's the reason? What's the issue? What's the problem? Why we need to change something? If something is going on and on, so that's perfectly fine. But if we need to make some change, what's the reason behind that? So, what is the future state of the organization or audience that you would like to achieve? Considering the issue of this pandemic. Now, if we are not going to change our systems, we are going to end up nowhere. I mean, we don't have any other option except to accept that change. We have to accept it open-heartedly. We need to guide people that in the future it's compulsory. We cannot stop the things. Like, I'm more focusing on the educational institutions, but what about the other businesses? If the businesses, those businesses who as soon as possible switched without wasting any time, switched to online selling, they are surviving. But the businesses that do not go for any such thing, they are going to be closed. They have already been closed, or very soon they will be closed. So, managing change is an approach to transitioning individuals, teams, and organizations to a desired future state. We need to understand social distancing has to prevail. I mean, we cannot go out for shopping the same way. We cannot deliver the lecture in the same classroom. We cannot conduct conferences in huge halls where 500, 400, 1000 people are sitting in front of us. So, the ultimate thing is to change. We need to transit, we need transitions in our systems, in our working, in so many things. We need to motivate people to accept this fact that there is no other option now. That's a simple graph that shows the number of people, like 15% are the innovators, right? There are certain universities that adapted the change since, the first week of the pandemic. right? The day the government announced for the closure of operations, universities, schools, and everything, within 1 week, they shifted to online education system. They shifted to this system, they get people used to of it, and they continue to work. So these are those people who are innovators. Then the rest of 35% people learn from those innovators who are known as early adapters. And the next 35 are those who are a bit slow in learning. So for them, we term it as late adapters. And then the last 15%, they have so many issues. We will discuss all the issues in the later stage. They are the one who always resist change. They say no, it shouldn't take place. There are certain reasons behind this. We are going to discuss all these things in detail. But what's the important point? What's the learning point from this slide is we need to focus mainly on these 15% because they are the innovators. They find the solutions at the earliest. They are the one who can teach the early adopters. And if and once 50% of the people start using the change, the rest of the 50% consider it as a challenge. Especially the late adapters. They consider that, oh no, my God, I'm getting a bit behind. I might be left alone. No, I need to learn. So that is the thing that we need to support the 15% to convert 15% into 50%, and then managing change would become relatively easy. I hope the thing is clear. Endorse the feelings of people during COVID-19. Now, whenever you want to bring the change, you need to endorse people. We need to understand that resistance can be a systematic or behavioral level. Now we need to understand the difference between systematic and behavioral. Systematic, lack of appropriate knowledge. It's easy to say that just all the teachers will take the classes online, but do all of them know how to do it? Right? Do they have the appropriate knowledge? Do they have the information how they can do it? Do they have the skills? Do they have the managerial capabilities, managerial capacity to implement that change? And then the second thing is behavioral. This is a normal reaction, perceptions and assumptions. Behavioral is some sort, we can say that it's natural because it's human psychology that people resist change. But the level of resistance, the level of that resistant behavior differ from person to person. Now, we need to acknowledge the pain of changing. This is the most important thing that, the major responsibility lie on the leader. That when I start with a quotation for the leaders. Why? Because leader has to acknowledge and he has to show it to their employees, subordinates, colleagues that he know that they are in pain. He know that they are facing the challenges. He need to, it's not only about that he should be knowing about it, he should also show it. Prove it to people that yes, I know that you are suffering a lot. You're working hard. You're striving your best. Once you show it to them, you automatically gain their sympathies. Right? Now, people oppose change, but they are ready to adopt to new circumstances. Change is based on building a new organization and gradually transforming people from the old one to the new one. The only thing is to realize people that now change is compulsory for survival. Once you make it very clear that there is no other option. It is must for survival. People will be, you know, will become willing to learn to adopt that change. Change leadership model here is very important because change is always implemented by the leaders. And leader has a major role. Leaders have a major role while implementing change in the organizations. Effective leadership accelerates and focuses change. You know, they focus more on change, on, I mean, they focus more that people learn the changed process rather than just focusing on the outcome. They provide a common language for successful implementation of change. They make sure that they provide similar language, they communicate the message in the same way that everybody is going to get the same message, everybody is going to understand the things in a similar way. Transformational leaders engages managers in living the change rather than delegating it. This is a very critical point. This is very important. Do not delegate the change. Do not, I mean, you have to give autonomy to a certain level, but it shouldn't be like this. We need this change. You need to learn it. You need to do it your way. No, it shouldn't be like this. Living the change. You need to be the part of it. You need to prove your employees. You need to prove your subordinates. You need to prove your colleagues that you're the part of it. You're also learning. You're also adapting. So you need to show it rather than putting all the burdens on their shoulder. You need to provide a simple checklist. You need to provide them proper tools. You need to give them guidance. You need to give them training. You need to go for all these things so that people may learn it clearly. If you want to create incremental change, focus on behavior. But if you want a real breakthrough, change the paradigm, change the way people think about it. If you remember a while ago, I just mentioned that you need to make sure that people are very clear about it, that we don't have any other way except to adopt the change. Now, this is something which I discussed earlier, that we will discuss types of resistance later on. There are, broadly speaking, there are three kinds of resistance that we will face while changing. The first one is technical, the second one is political, and the third one is cultural. Let's discuss about the first one because this is very important. Aligning and structuring organization. Habit and inertia, difficulty in learning, lack of skills. And people do not have skills, they will certainly face difficulty in learning and adapting change. Inertia, habit, mental capabilities, learning curve of all the individuals is different. So what's the solution? The solution is to provide them proper resources and training. Get yourself involved in solutions. Unless and until you provide them proper training, it becomes very difficult for you to get rid of this technical resistance. We need to allocate resources, we need to provide them training, we need to show them that we are the part of your issue. And we are here to resolve your issue, right? The second thing is political. This is really a bit critical, and leaders or the owners or the top management has to handle it in a very professional way. The major problem is allocating power and resources. Now, in the current pandemic, what has been observed? That classes have to be taken online, sales have to be made online, and things have to change in a different way. As far as the upcoming generation is concerned, they are very good in using all these things. So what's the problem? Try to old guard from the new guard. The old ones, they are not very used to of all these things. They feel threatened from the newcomers. The second thing is relationships. Now the things are heading in a different way. I might be having some very close relationship with my boss, but I'm not good in using the computer and all this IT and online lecturing or online presentations and all these things. So the other person who was never close to the boss, he knows everything, boss will automatically get deviated towards him. He will give him authority, he will give him power, the power and authority that I used to enjoy once, right? How to get rid of this issue? Seek input and involve. Make sure that you are going to involve all the individuals. Maximum involvement. Assign some responsibility to everybody. Sponsor team consensus and visibility. The one who is performing well, make him visible. But do not ignore the others. Involve them. Involve them in everything. Right? And the last one is cultural resistance. Cultural resistance is, articulating the glue or cultural norms. It's all about selective perception, locked into old mindset, and afraid of letting go. If I let my old system go, I'm going to lose my culture, I'm going to lose my identity. How can I survive? No, it's not like this. We need to create a positive new paradigm in the mindset of people. Once you successfully create the new paradigm, you will automatically see that people have started adopting that. In change management, in managing change, the most important and most difficult thing is to change the culture. I mean, culture always keeps on changing, but it's such a slower pace that you cannot understand it, it's changing, right? But when you have to change the culture, as with reference to current scenario, we are talking about the you know managing change during the pandemic. We need sudden changes. We need entirely a different culture. Just imagine the culture of taking a classroom, I mean taking a lecture in the classroom where the students are sitting in front of you, and then you have to change everything to this online lecturing. Now the things are quite different. Reward versus rhetoric. Give the option of acting on the rhetoric or following the reward system. People will follow the reward system every time, right? If you're not giving them, if you're not rewarding them for the efforts that they are doing, make sure you cannot go along with this thing. Rules for sustainable change. You need to continuously reinforce people. You need to continuously show commitment. You need to integrate ongoing process with new initiatives. Mistakes are your best teachers. Whatever difficulty you face, learn from it. More stress on learning than highly expectations of results. Don't go for only results, but for learning. Be flexible, let go or move on whenever necessary. Be adaptive, right? Last but not the least, I would like to say that all progress requires change, but not all change is progress. Thank you very much for your time and attention. Thank you very much for listening. Hope to see you soon.